All right, so to continue with the story. So as I said, my ex was 2 months pregnant. Then she lied about, she said she was going to go to the movies, but she was really going to go to a party, a Halloween party. So, and then when I caught her that she was lying, she was like, oh, you're really upset. And I was like, I'm not that upset. I'm just upset that you lied, But I was being completely cool. And part of the reason why I was so cool was because I knew that she had 3 abortions before. So I didn't want to make her upset. Because I was always afraid, in the back of my mind, I was afraid that she was going to get another abortion. So I was like, I played really cool. I was just like, I'm upset that you lied to me, Because now it's hard for me to trust you. But then she was like, she was the one who got upset, and then she raised her voice, and then it woke up her daughter, and then she got upset with me, and I didn't even do anything. All I said was, hey, I'm just a little bit upset that you lied to me, But then she ended up kicking me out of her place, and then she wouldn't respond to my text. And like I said, I tried to get a hold of my mom, and as I mentioned before, my mom always has me blocked, and she has a hostile attitude toward me, a very negative attitude, because like the fact of the matter is, I discovered the theory of everything. What would have been awesome is, what would have been ideal is I discovered the theory of everything. My mom should have been like, wow, this is amazing, Ryan. Let's support you. You did something really outstanding. But my mom isn't, first off, she's an SJ personality type. So she's not into ideas, first off. And same thing with my dad. My dad and my mom are SJ personality types, guardian personality types. So right off the bat, they didn't believe me that I discovered the theory of everything, and they were already antagonistic toward me from middle school and high school when my dad got the shoot-away machine and messed up my shot. And like I said, around the high school time, my dad's having me shoot wrong. He's telling me to shoot wrong. He's upset with me. What's wrong with you? You're shooting square. Not realizing it's because of the shoot-away machine, how I'm picking the ball off the rack and how it makes you move into shots. But he didn't know that. So then he tried to artificially make me shoot sideways, completely screwed up my shot, told me to do the exact wrong thing, and then he got mad at me. And then he's the one who's telling me, Ryan, your shot looks terrible, but I don't even know that. He's the one who's telling me. So I'm like, well, can you help me, Dad? He's like, I give up. I can't help you anymore. Every time I fix it, you go back to shooting bad. Well, of course, because I was shooting the ball off the shoot-away rack. But I didn't know that, and he didn't know that. So then I'm like, well, Dad, come on, help me. And he's like, no, I give up. And then my grandpa comes in from Kauai. He never knew how good of a player I was. He's like, oh, excuse Ryan, you can't make things happen. It's, everything is the universe is one. And you can't make things happen, and you have to accept your dad's calls. And so then my mom's like, yeah, Ryan, you have to accept it. Your dad says he doesn't want to shoot with you. You have to accept it. But I felt like my dad's the one who's telling me your shot looks terrible. I don't know how to fix it. I was always so amazing because I was unconscious. So I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't know what to do. And then my dad's telling me to do the wrong thing, telling me to put my right foot toward the left and my left foot forward, telling me to, shoot like my friend Nick Turley shot, who's pigeon-toed. I'm not pigeon-toed. I'm the opposite. And great shooters shoot with their left foot pointed out. And I'm not going to go into details about how it's really the fact of the matter is the real problem was a shoot-away rack, how you're picking them off the rack. And I'm not going to go into details about how good shooters move into shots. But the fact of the matter is my dad messed up my shot with the shoot-away. But he got mad at me. He thought there was something wrong with me because, of course, my dad's not going to think that he's the one who messed up my shot. My dad thinks he knows what he's talking about. But you shoot sideways, man. What's wrong with you? You're not shooting sideways. Well, maybe because you're a fucking idiot and you gave me the shoot-away rack and you can't shoot sideways. You can't shoot correctly if you're picking up off a rack. But he was too stupid to realize that. But so then I want to talk to my dad. So I'm telling my mom, after I discovered the theory of everything, I want to talk to my dad. This is after I graduated. My mom and dad made me go to Kauai because they didn't believe the quadrant model. And then I'm trying to talk to my dad, and my mom's like, he's never going to talk to you. He's embarrassed. He has a schizophrenic loser son. And I'm like, Mom, I don't have schizophrenia. I discovered the theory of everything. Oh my God, you're such a fucking freak. You think you discovered the theory of everything? You're a fucking loser freak. Your dad's never going to talk to you. He's embarrassed. He has a loser schizophrenic for a son. And I'm like, Mom, I discovered the theory of everything. And I said, and she's like, well, he's not going to talk to you. He hates you. Don't you remember how you treated him in high school? And I was like, Mom, because they think that there was something wrong with me. They think that it was my fault. But they don't know if it wasn't for the shoot-away machine, I would have been a star basketball player. Everything would have been wonderful. They would have loved me. everything would have been great. And they think there was something inherently wrong with me. No, it was the fact. It was a shoot away. It was really my dad's fault. Really. And that was the problem was I wasn't allowed to say that because my grandpa would be like, he taught me, never blame. Always take responsibility. So I never was able to even say, hey, it was my dad's fault. I was always like, it was a shoot away's fault. When was like, oh my God, the shoot away. Oh, you're such a loser. You think it was a shoot away? Yeah, it was a shoot away. And not just that, it was my dad, really. He's the one who got the shoot away, and he's the one who told me to shoot wrong. But anyways, I'm like, Mom, I just want to move on. I'm like, Mom, I figured out what happened. She's like, your dad's never gonna talk to you. Don't you remember how you treated him in high school? And I'm like, Mom, figured out what happened. It was a shoot away machine. Oh my God. If it wasn't for the shoot away machine, none of this stuff would have happened. But my mom wouldn't listen to me. No, talk about the past. Don't talk about the past, you fucking loser. This is why you have schizophrenia. My grandpa came up with that idea of never, after the abuse happened in high school, my grandpa came up with the idea, never talk about the past, because if you're in the flow, you're in the eternal moment. So never bring up the abuse that your dad did to you. Because if you're in the flow, you're in the moment. Jesus put his plow down and he never looked back. And I want to be in the fucking moment. I want to move on. And I want my dad's support. And I want my mom's support. But my mom and dad are the ones who are stuck in the past. They think there was something wrong with me. You're an obsessive compulsive disorder. You tried to make things happen. You didn't accept no for an answer. Because at the time, I was like, my dad was like, your shot looks terrible. And I'm like, well, can you fix it? And then he's like, no, I give up. You fucking suck. And I'm like, Dad, come on, fix it. And then no, ask me again. I'm going to fuck you up. And then he beat me up. But now I know it wasn't my fault. It was a shoot away. And if it wasn't for the shoot away, none of that would have happened. But they don't know that. They thought there was something wrong with me. And they think that I'm the one who fucked it up. And that I had obsessive compulsive disorder or some bullshit. And that I couldn't take no for an answer. No, if it wasn't, it wasn't that. If it wasn't for the fucking shoot away, I would have been a star. There would have been no problems. So let's just move on. I discovered a theory of everything. Everything should be great. My mom should be happy. Everyone should be happy. I discovered theory of everything. So why the fuck are you treating me bad? You should be happy. You should be celebrating. Everyone should be proud. My mom and dad should be proud of me. Not, oh, you're a fucking schizophrenic fucking loser freak. Fuck you, dude. I discovered theory of everything. But so, and if they wouldn't have thrown me to Kauai, they could have helped me get basketball videos. I could have studied this. I lost the swag flow in college. I could have studied the swag flow. I could have got back into basketball. I would have fixed my shot earlier. A lot of stuff. But because they threw me to the side. So at this point, like I said, my ex was pregnant, and I wanted to. My ex was like, she wanted to meet my parents, and I told my ex, hey, listen, or I told my girlfriend at the time, she was pregnant. I'm like, listen, I want to talk to my parents. I would love to. I want to, but they won't talk to me. And she's like, Ryan, you have to, you have to move on, and who cares what your parents did to you? You have to, forgive and move on. And I'm like, it's not me. I'm the one who wants to forgive and move on. They're the ones who won't fucking talk to me. So then, of course, she's going to make assumptions because she sees my dad's a surgeon. She doesn't know my dad. She doesn't know that my dad, everyone who knows my dad look down upon, thinks that my dad was a bully and stupid and stuff. They don't know that. She assumes that my dad must be the good guy and I must be the bad guy. So she's like, Ryan, you have to just move. And then, so then I'm like, no, they won't talk to me. And then my ex calls my mom and she's like, can I meet you guys for Thanksgiving? And my mom's like, no, we're never going to talk to Ryan. We're never going to see him. And so then my ex, when she sees me, my girlfriend, she starts to cry because she's like, oh, and she's like, why won't your parents talk to you? So she's probably coming up with all these assumptions. Oh, I must be a terrible guy. I must have done terrible things. That's the only thing that people will fucking think because people can't imagine how parents could abandon their kid. But then she doesn't know the whole story. She doesn't know that my grandpa came in and my grandpa was like, when I discovered the quadrant model, my grandpa was like, oh, Ryan. My grandpa didn't believe the quadrant model. He was like, well, Ryan just made this up because he wants to stay independent because he has a fragile ego structure and he made up the quadrant model. So what we should do is we should make Ryan independent. And my mom and dad interpreted that as, oh yeah, throw him to the side, never talk to him again. They didn't realize, but my grandpa didn't believe the quadrant model. So he's like, just, you need to get a job and be independent and then you'll let go of the quadrant model. And he's doing all this fucking psychoanalysis. Because if you do that, then you're going to be outside of yourself and that's going to strengthen your ego structure. And then you'll let go of the quadrant model. And my mom and dad are like, yeah, he's a fucking schizophrenic loser. Get him out of our lives. Make him independent. That will help him. No, what would have helped is I discovered theory of everything. I needed some support. So anyways, my ex doesn't know all this backstory. So my ex is thinking, I must be really bad. I'm not really bad. I discovered a theory of everything. What should have happened is my mom and dad should have been happy and celebrating and not throwing me to Kauai where things deteriorated and things went out of control. So, so then, like I said, but then then my ex lies about going to the Halloween party. And then I call my mom and like I said, it's hard to get in touch with my mom, but then my mom's like, Ryan, she clearly doesn't like you, because I'm trying to text my ex. I want to see how the baby's doing. I know she'd had 3 abortions before. I was concerned about the baby. But then my mom says, Ryan, she clearly doesn't like you. You have to accept that. She doesn't want to talk to you. You have to just accept that. Because I want my mom to, most kids, most people's moms would call her and be like, hey, is everything going okay? What's going on? But my mom, Ryan, she clearly doesn't like you. Just like, you're because I would call my mom, can I talk to dad? No, he's never going to talk to you. You just have to accept that. He wants nothing to do with you. You have to accept that. So then now my ex, she's not talking to me. After she had asked my mom if she could meet her, and my mom was like, no, yeah, we're not going to talk to Ryan. So then my ex is making assumptions about me. And then, so my mom's like, she clearly doesn't like you. You just have to accept that. You have to accept that. If people want nothing to do with you, you just have to accept it. Because she thinks that she's following my grandpa's teachings. Because my grandpa, when my shot got messed up with the shoot away, he's like, Ryan, everything is one. Your dad made a bad call. Well, you just have to accept it. Trust. The universe is moving an anti-entropic eroding function toward the kingdom of heaven. You just have to trust and just trust. Have faith, and you can't make things happen, Ryan. Yeah, Ryan, you can't make things happen. My mom would be like, Ryan, you can't make things happen. You have to accept it, you fucking loser. Like I said, when I went to Mom's house, I needed help to fix my shot. I called my dad. I called my mom. You're a fucking loser. Oh my God. You're fucking 16 years old and you need your dad, you fucking loser. If it wasn't for the shoot away machine, none of it would have fucking happened. But I would have been a star basketball player. None of the stuff would happen. I was a star basketball player. I was so good because I was unconscious. And that's why things got so bad with the shoot away machine, because I was so unconscious and so amazing that once the shoot away machine messed up my shot, I didn't know how to fix it. And my dad's the one, I didn't even know there was something wrong with it. My dad was the one who was telling me, you're shooting square. Not realizing it was because of the shoot away machine. So anyways, so then my ex, she, then like I said, when Thanksgiving came, she wanted to meet my mom and dad. My mom and dad wouldn't meet her because they wouldn't see me. And they lived in Texas, but, she wanted to meet them and go out to Texas, but my mom and dad refused. So then my ex, she asked me, I go to visit her, and then she says, hey, Ryan, your friend Malik, he has a younger daughter, right? Do you think that my daughter can have play dates with her daughter? And I'm like, do you want to fuck Malik? You want to fuck my black friend? And I was like, what kind of question is that? That's like really inappropriate. And then, but I wasn't mean about it. I was just like, what, do you want to fuck Malik? Like, what's going on? And she's like, I don't want to fuck Malik. I just want to know if he could have play dates with my daughter. And I'm like, so I was like, do you still love me? And she's like, no, I don't love you. I'm not feeling you anymore. I'm not feeling you. So, then things are just deteriorating. So then she's like, you know what? I don't really, because I was supposed to go to Thanksgiving with her. She's like, you know what? I don't think we should go to Thanksgiving together. So, so then I want to take a break or whatever. So then I'm texting her, asking her, hey, what's going on? She's not responding because, again, she doesn't respect me. So she's not responding to my text. She's ghosting me. She's pregnant with my daughter. A mature person, if you're pregnant with your daughter, if you're concerned, hey, I'm just texting her, hey, how's the baby doing? Is everything okay? She's not responding because she doesn't respect me. And I have concern about my daughter. At the time, I didn't know it was my daughter. It was my baby. But she doesn't respect me, so she's not texting me. And in her mind, she's probably thinking, his own parents won't even talk to him. So, so what's the big deal? He's a fucking loser. She doesn't know that I fucking discovered a theory of everything, that I'm not a loser, that I was the best, I probably would have been the biggest rapper in history, that I was the best basketball player in the country. She doesn't know this shit. She thinks she's probably making assumptions about me, and my own mom and dad won't talk to me, so she's making assumptions about me. And she doesn't know the fucking trauma that all this shit did to me. If my mom and dad would have told me, I could have got the basketball videos, got my swag flow back, a lot of stuff, but I've been abandoned, So then as I said, she had to have a cerclage. She got the cerclage, but before she got the cerclage, as I said, I went to her place. You know, she wouldn't respond to my text, but I went to her place, and then she had a threatened miscarriage, so I had to drive her to the hospital. Everything was okay, but then I bring her back, and then, you know, I see that this guy, late at night, this guy Jared's sending a bunch of Snapchats to her, and I look, I'm like, who's Jared? She's like, oh, he's just a friend. And then she's Snapchatting this guy the next day, smiling. So she's Snapchatting another guy in front of me, smiling and making like sexual faces. And then I go to the bathroom, and then she screams, Ryan! And I'm like, what? I'm just going to the bathroom. And she thought that her phone was in the bathroom because she was hiding her phone. But then she's like, oh, never mind. I have my phone. She's like, do you have my phone? So obviously she was sexting this guy. So that happens. And then, like I said, she has the cerclage. She had to get a cerclage, but then, you know, she had because she had a short cervix. She said it was because she had 3 abortions, so she had messed up her cervix. And then so she had to be on bed rest. So she told her work that she had to be on bed rest, so she wasn't going to be working, but she wanted me to take care of her while she was pregnant. So she has me go to her place, and I'm taking care of her. And, but, you know, her daughter wanted to go to Kids Empire because it was raining. So we go to Kids Empire, and then my ex is moving around. She wasn't supposed to be moving around. So I tell her, hey, you need to tell the dad. I don't like to say baby dad, because that's ghetto, but, and you know, she's ghetto, but, you know, I had to tell her, hey, listen, you know, you need to tell the dad of your daughter that, you know, you're pregnant, because she was 4 months pregnant, but she was still keeping it a secret. And I'm wondering in my mind, like, why is she still keeping it a secret? I was thinking maybe she's still keeping it a secret because she's still considering getting an abortion. Like, I'm wondering why would she be keeping it a secret from her family and her ex that she's pregnant for 4 months? So then I go back to her place, and I'm cooking for her, because in my mind, I'm like, you know what? I never learned how to cook. You know, this will be an excuse for me to learn how to cook. And so I'm cooking for her, and then I give the food to her daughter. And then her daughter, you know, so my ex is telling me that she wants me to go home because, you know, the next day she would be meeting up with the dad of her daughter. And I was like, okay, I'll go. But then her daughter is pointing at the door to me, and she's telling me to go after I gave her the food. And her daughter was acting crazy. She was like acting too wild. And my ex is supposed to be on bed rest, but she can't be on bed rest when she's taking care of her daughter, who's moving around all the time. And then her daughter kicks my ex in the stomach, who's pregnant with my baby. And then my ex goes, ow! And I'm like, what's going on? And I tell her, listen, you have to tell the dad of your daughter that you're pregnant so that he can help take care of your daughter, because you're not going to be able to take care of your daughter while you're on bed rest. And then she's like, okay, I'll tell him. She was like, okay, I'm going to tell him. But then her daughter tells me to leave. Her daughter points out the door, and she's telling me to leave. And I'm you know, I just cooked a food for her. So then I'm like, okay, you want me to leave? Oh, you're going to leave. So I put her in timeout. I pick her up and I put her in timeout. I've been carrying her the whole day because my ex usually carries her, but she couldn't because she was pregnant and she had to be on bed rest. So I've been carrying her the whole day. So I pick her up to put her outside to go on timeout. And then my ex gets mad at me. Okay. But I realized that I made a mistake doing that. I got angry. I got upset, but I was under a lot of pressure. And my ex had been disrespecting me this whole time. The whole pregnancy had been a nightmare. So I'm under a lot of pressure. And again, I tried to make things happen. I got angry. By putting her daughter outside, I was trying to express, hey, listen, I'm not going to be able to take care of you and your daughter. You're going to have to find a way. You know, I was hoping that maybe her family would take care of the daughter. Maybe the dad of her daughter would be able to take care of the daughter. But I'm like, this is going to be too much. You're supposed to be on bed rest, but you keep on getting up and you keep on taking care of your daughter. The doctor said you need to be on bed rest. We need to figure something out. So I instead of just communicating that, I was under a lot of pressure. I put the daughter outside, and then my ex got really mad at me. Okay. And I brought the daughter back inside, and then the daughter was doing this to my face. She was going like this, like trying to pinch my head. So I was like, are you pinching my head? So I get up and I was going to I was fake pinching her head. And then my ex got mad at me, and then she told me to leave. So then I ended up leaving. And then the next day I'm texting my ex, and I'm like, have you talked to your baby, the dad of your daughter, to tell her that you're pregnant yet? But she wouldn't respond to me again. Again, she didn't respect me. She wouldn't respond to my texts. I'll continue later.